Progress.
Okay, good morning, dear friends. We're continuing in Sefer Chofetz Chaim, Klal Aleph, Sif Katan Zayin. We just learned in Sif Katan Vav that if a person is afraid they're going to lose their job because they don't know how to slander people in the coffee room, so be it. You have to give up all your money not to violate a lav, and the Ber Maim Chaim in the footnote brought from Rabbi Kiva Eger, even not to violate a D'Rabbanan. You have to give up all your money. So then, what if it's just a matter of kavod, that you're not going to be with the in crowd if you don't know how to, if you're not a professional, Baal Lashon Harah, Moitzi Shemra V'roichel. Says the Chofetz Chaim, from here we can understand the Kolshkenim Negela Rak B'kavod Ba'ama, certainly if it's only relevant for one's honor. Kagan Sheyosh Ben Chaburas Anoshim. Let's say someone's sitting in a group of people, and you have no scheme how to escape. So basically you're trapped. You're sitting among people and you have no way to escape. And they're speaking Lashon Harah. That is Lashon Harah al pidin. If you're just going to sit and be still, and not help them in their conversations, you will be considered like a fool. Certainly aser. About this or the like, our sages have said, Mutav la'adam sheyikare shoita kol yamav. It is better for a person to be called a fool his whole life, and not be considered wicked before Hashem for a moment. You should energize yourself at that moment with all your strength, to stand guard over your soul. And you should be confident. Your reward will be endless. Like our sages teach us, Lefum Tsara Agra. In accordance with the pain is the reward. We also find in Avos Rav Nasan, Kipam Achas B'tsar Mimea Pamim Shaloi B'tsar. One time that a mitzvah is done with distress is greater than 100 times not in distress. Ubeiurai, the explanation is, Kidvar mitzvah, the performance of mitzvah, a lifraish midvar ha'isr, or to separate from something forbidden, shabalai al yedei tsar, that comes through pain, scharai mea pamim yoser, is 100 times greater, mi mitzvah acheres kamaisa, than another mitzvah like it, shabalai shalai b'tzar. V'al eis kazeh, about such a time, Bevadai Shayach Maimer Chazal b'Medrash. It's certainly Shayach, the statement of Chazal in the Medrash. Kol rega v'rega sh'adam choysein piv. For every moment that a person muzzles his mouth, Zoicha la'or haganos. He merits the hidden light. Shein kol malach ubriya yachal l'shar, that no angel or creature could estimate. Regarding how to accord oneself if somebody is caught up with such a group regarding rebuking them or believing the Lashon Harah, Ayin lekaman b'Klal Vav, look later on in Klal Vav, Siv Dalet Hey Vav, V'ayin le'el b'Psicha, look early in the Psicha, in the Lavin, Ois Tes Zayin, where we said in Ois Tes Zayin that if somebody tells you Lashon Harah, you cannot nod your head, you cannot show pleasure, and you are obligated to be moiser nefesh and not incur the sin of chanupa. Sivchas iser zeh shel Lashon Harah beinim hu mesaper lo b'fiv mamish oy shehu koisel av davar z'mechtavai. There's no difference whether you say it or you write it. V'gam ein b'chilik beinim mesaper lo Lashon Harah shel b'feirush. There's no difference if you say it outright. Uvein hu mesaper alav Lashon Harah b'derech ramaz, or you allude to it. In other words, Nicht auf jenem gesagt, I don't want to talk about this now. Okay, very good. You would have been better off not saying that. Once you said that, you violated Isser D'Oraisa of Lashon Harah. When you say, you mentioned the guy's name, I'd rather not get into that. Okay, just you've already done a good job. You're over b'derech remez. Where do we learn this from? Rashi in Parshas Kedoshim on the pasuk of Seich Rachel Ba'amecha. Rashi quotes the Targum, that Targum Unclus uses Lashon of court sin, that the Bali Lashon Harah would motion with their eyes and gesticulate and make various movements with their fingers. And that was considered Lashon Hara. The Chofetz Chaim asks, the Gemara in Bracha says, B'ma'arava, when a person got married, they would say, Matzah or might say, basically, is your wife bad as death, or is she sweet? And they would be merames through the word ma. He would say either matzah or might say. That shows that that Lashon Hara maybe is mutter b'derech ramez. How are you allowed to say matzah or might say? Says the Chofetz Chaim, maybe over there it's utilizing the heter of apei tlasa, because if the lady is bitter like death, then nobody could hide that. Yeah? So then maybe you could rely on the apei tlasa. If the Baal's kavana is not lahaver hakoil, or the Gemara in Yevamis, Amar le Reb Chia bar Rabbi Lerav, umoitze ani marmi maves haisha. For example, who? He said, like your mother. How is he allowed to say that? It must be there was the heter of apei tlasa. Fine. We will discuss the heter of apei tlasa later, because it's very difficult to actually access that heter. Sif test. You should know further, even if within the disparagement that you embarrass your friend, you also put down yourself. Let's say, in the very disparagement that you put down your friend, you embarrass yourself. Even if you first speak about yourself, you are still considered a Baal Lashon Hara. The fact that you include in yourself does not help. This is one of the rayas that I have, that there's no source that you're not allowed to speak Lashon Hara about yourself. Even though it's one of like the most well-known stories with the Chofetz Chaim, that the Chofetz Chaim supposedly was saying he was minimizing his own greatness, and then somebody got very upset, and the Chofetz Chaim says, from here you see you can't speak Lashon Hara about yourself. I don't think there's any halachic basis for that concept, that you're not allowed to speak Lashon Hara about yourself. It might not be a smart thing to do, but this sif proves very clearly that it's not true. Because then the Chofetz Chaim would have just said that it doesn't help if you say it about yourself, because you're not allowed to say it about yourself. He doesn't say that. He says you're not allowed to do it anyway because you're including the other guy. So I am not aware of any halachic source that you can't say. Now, it's not a good thing to do. You have to have self-respect. But I don't think it's under the guidelines of Hilchos Lashon Hara. And the constant repetition of that story, notwithstanding, I don't think makes it any more halachically true. Okay, but I'll let you think about that. That will be your homework. Have a great day, everyone. Bracha v'atzlacha.
Recording stopped.